Welcome students to week 5. So you only have 3 more weeks left to this class. So this week we're going to talk about, in the week 5 forum, we're going to talk about what it is that you want in this class. In other words, you get to have your voice heard on what kind of classes you would like or what topics you would like to be taught in this college or in this class. So would you like to have a vocabulary class, a grammar class, types of essays, APA, or business writing? So you get to be the one. So what lessons should be taught to help you as a writer? And so in the week 5 forum, you get to explore what other topics you would like to see in this class. What other classes would you like LAPU to offer in addition to English 101, in addition to English 105, and in addition to English 115? English 105 talks about media bias and research methods. English 115 talks about the introduction to literature, and English 101 is the introduction to composition. And so what other LAPU classes would you like offered, and what topics would you like offered? Now, previous students said that they would like to have a vocabulary class, they would like to have a grammar class, more grammar classes, more business writing classes, or more lessons about APA. So what about you? What is it that you would like to see here in this class? How can this class be improved? How can my teacher feedback be improved so that you can have a better experience in this class or a better experience at LAPU? So I always tell students that if you want to improve your vocabulary, you can always get yourself a Roget's thesaurus. A Roget's thesaurus has synonyms of every word. So that way it will help expand your vocabulary. If you want to learn about APA, you can go to the www.apa.org website and buy an APA manual. And then you can also go to, for business writing, you can get yourself a business writing textbook, and YouTube has a lot of business writing textbooks as well. So here I also, and also for grammar, you can also get the grammar book by Marianne Sales Murcia, who was my UCLA professor, and I also learned from the grammar book when I was at UCLA. So that is a huge book on English grammar. If you're an ESL student, you might want to check out Betty Azar, Maintaining and Understanding English Grammar. Betty Azar goes into depth, all the different verb tenses, gerunds and infinitives, and that sort of thing. Eventually, I'd like to make a video series on the Betty Azar book. So that's going to be a future project of mine. And if you have any other video topics you would like me to make for my Professor H writing channel, feel free to email me what video topics you would like more. What grammar topics would you like covered in more detail? Would you like more sentence structure? Would you like more? So basically, week 5 forum is kind of like your voice is heard in what it is you would like, what teaching topics would you like more of. And that way, we as designers can then provide that for you. Then in the practice forum 3, we're going to study what makes an effective thesis statement. Remember that the thesis statement is the main idea of your essay. The thesis statement is always the last sentence of your first paragraph, the first sentence of your last paragraph, and your thesis statement acts as a roadmap to the rest of your essay. If you have a good thesis statement, then you're going to have a great essay. If you have a bad thesis statement, you're going to have a bad essay. So in order to have an effective thesis statement, you need to have these elements: topic plus opinion plus reasons, TOR, okay? And so if you just simply say abortion is immoral, that's an ineffective thesis statement because you don't state why it's immoral. If I say something like, abortion is immoral because reason 1, reason 2, reason 3, because A, God created life, and only God can decide when to take that life. B, the fetus is human, and C, life begins at conception. And so those would be the three reasons why abortion is immoral. And so once again, that would be an effective thesis statement, because then those three reasons become your body paragraphs. And so when we write our persuasive essay, we're going to have our topic plus our opinion. Then we're going to back up that opinion with reason 1, reason 2, reason 3. Because whenever we make a claim in English, we always have to back up that claim with credible evidence. If we don't back up our claim or a thesis with credible evidence, then our entire claim or paper becomes a fallacy. We will explore in more detail fallacies and bias in English 105. But in English 101, I just want to teach you about the basics about essay structure. So that's what we're going to do in practice forum 3, where I'm going to give you a series of thesis statements, and then you're going to rate and judge whether those thesis statements are effective or ineffective. So the hint is any thesis statement that does not have reasons is ineffective, and any thesis statement that has reasons are effective. Okay, so that's basically practice forum 3 in a nutshell. Then you're going to have your quiz 5 is going to be on sentence fragments. And so in order to avoid sentence fragments, you need to learn sentence structure. So you need to learn what is a simple sentence, what is a compound sentence, and what is a complex sentence, and what is a compound complex sentence. And so by understanding, and what are run-on sentences. And so by understanding sentence structure, then you can avoid sentence fragments. Any kind of dependent clause or any sentence that's missing. So remember that a complete thought equals one sentence. So a simple sentence, for instance, the simplest sentence in English is subject plus verb plus object. If your sentence is missing any of those elements, subject, verb, or object, then it becomes a sentence fragment. And we want to avoid sentence fragments in our essays, because if you have sentence fragments in your essays, it makes you appear uneducated and unprofessional to the reader, and you lose points for grammar on your essay. So just go watch my essay video on sentence fragments before you take your sentence fragment quiz. So I also have sentence revision videos on my Professor H website, writing channel. So that's quiz 5. Then you're going to this week, you're going to be doing your illustrative essay, part 3. So I will be giving you the very last example of an illustrative essay and a persuasive. All I'm going to do is just, I think for this week, I'm simply going to talk about the illustrative essay example, since now you know the difference between an illustrative essay, which is the problem solution essay, and a persuasive essay. So if you're having trouble still with either one of these essays, you can always email me. And so I will go, and without further ado, I will give you one last one, because this week your illustrative essay part 3 final draft is due. And so what you're going to do is you're going to incorporate all of the teacher feedback that I gave you in part 2 and use the template that I gave you. And if you did not have correct essay structure, I will have provided you with a template for you to follow. Then you can follow that template for your week, for your part 3 essay final draft. So you just have to make sure that as you write your final draft and you revise, so this week is revision week. It's rewriting. This is the last stage of the writing process. So pre-writing was in week 1, writing was in week 3, and now in week 5, you're in the very last stage of the writing process, where you're going to rewrite your rough draft, correct your mistakes, and then hand in your final draft of the of Essay 1. And so I'm not going to go over that. I might go over briefly some of the revision techniques in doing your, we're going to go over more about revision techniques. I think it's in week 7. But for now, I will go over briefly how you revise your paper. So basically, you are going to use the template that I gave you for week from the week 3 feedback. And then you're going to, there are 2 steps to revision. You've got revision and proofreading. Those are the 2 steps to the rewriting stage. Revision we do first. Revision means we look over the overall essay. We check for essay structure first. We make sure we have a thesis statement with matching body paragraphs. We make sure our topic sentences match our thesis statement. We make sure we have a funnel introduction paragraph, that our thesis statement is the last sentence of the first paragraph and the first sentence of the last paragraph. So once we ascertain that our essay structure is solid, then then the very last step is proofreading. Proofreading, we proofread for grammar, we proofread for punctuation, and we proofread for APA formatting to make sure that our paper is double spaced. We indent the first line of every paragraph, and we use Times New Roman size 12. We make sure we only have 1 APA citation per paragraph. And then if we're using a direct quote, we use quotation marks, and then we have the author, the date, and the page number. And even if you summarize the source in your own words, and that's a paraphrase quote, you still have to cite the source. You don't need quotation marks, but you just need to put in the author's name and the date. And so you can always get, if you don't know how to do a reference APA citation, you can always go to www.apa.org, or you can go to the Purdue OWL Library that gives excellent examples on APA. And also, so whenever we always use APA if we are citing any kind of unknown knowledge, and if we're doing any kind of numerical data, in other words, dates, statistics, facts and figures, numbers, any kind of number requires an in-text citation. Anything from, it takes 115 days to finish task A, or Ronald earns $15 an hour, and next year in 2025 or 4, he will earn $35. Anything with numbers, you have to cite the source, because you have to give credit to the researcher. Who came up with those numbers? Did you come up with those numbers? Did you go out there and research for years to come up with those numbers? No. So if you do not give credit to the researcher, then you're plagiarizing. And so every time you when you turn in your final draft, it's going to be turned into Turnitin. And so you want to get a low plagiarism score, because if you get a high plagiarism score, that means that you cheated, or you inadvertently forgot to cite a source. Okay, so we always want to cite our sources. And if we're not certain how to cite a source, you can always email me and say, well, Professor H, I don't know how to do this APA citation. Did I do that correctly? So you can email me with APA questions if you want. Also, on my Professor H writing channel, I also have several videos on how to integrate APA in-text citations, when to use APA in-text citations, etc. So if you have any questions, always feel free to email me. And I think I will, and I'm going to go over one last example of an illustrative essay. So this is going to be really, really short. So for anybody who is still stuck on illustrative essay, and then I'll go over an example. Oh, that's not quite it. Okay, then I'll go over, let's see, I'm going to delete. Let me clear all of this. Right. So I will then do this. All right. So we're going to go over one last illustrative essay example. And then I'm going to, and you should be working on your persuasive essay, okay? So you should be working on your persuasive essay, and I think I did those two. Benefits of, oh, here we go. So, taking hot showers. So here you have, so one last illustrative essay and then that's it for this class, okay? So here you have, if I was teaching live students, I would be asking them, okay, I've gone over this a gazillion times. What are the 3 parts of your, and then you have your thesis, and then you have paragraph 2, paragraph 3, paragraph, and you're going to notice that part of teaching is repetition. So I've already done this many times, not just throughout so here you have the thesis statement, which is the main idea, and then here her thesis statement was taking hot showers is beneficial to a person's, notice how I didn't say to your health, okay, to a person's health. Okay, so replace you and your with a person's health, because a hot shower wakes you up in the, see, even I make that mistake, wakes a person up in the morning. A hot shower cleans the body, and a hot shower at night relaxes a person for bed. I almost said relaxes you for bed. See? So here you would say, so hot showers wakes a person up. Hot showers relaxes a person for bed. And hot showers cleans the body of germs. So that pretty much, and interestingly enough, this can also be a persuasive essay, I think. Yeah, I believe this could be also a persuasive essay. This particular topic seems to fit both a persuasive essay and a illustrative essay. And so the 5 background sentences would be, well, Marlon has, I chose a different name than Jane, okay? So Marlon has a hard time getting up in the morning. His wife advised him to take a shower in the morning to wake up, and to take a bath at night to relax. And so therefore, so you know, that kind of stuff. So you could use some kind of, so in your 5 background sentences, you state the problem. Okay, so what is the problem? And the problem is Marlon has a hard time getting to sleep, and he has a hard time waking up. Okay, so therefore his wife decided, oh, he should go take more showers and take a bath. Take a shower, hot shower in the morning to wake up, and then take a hot bath at night to relax. And so taking hot showers is beneficial to a person's health, because a hot shower can wake you up in the morning, and then a hot shower or a bath can relax a person for bed. And then you can write your 1 in-text citation, and you could look up, for instance, you're like, well, what could I look up for this particular, you could Google, the benefits of taking a hot shower. Then you're going to get a lot of hits, and then you'll be able to come up with 1 sentence that matches all of this, okay? So for your essay 2, you can use APA in-text cite. Well, actually, yeah, for essay 1, you're not required to use APA, and then for essay 2, you can use APA in order to make your paper sound more credible, and to practice using APA, because you have to learn how to use APA for all your papers that you're going to write, you're going to be using APA for all the papers that you're going to write in other classes. So you might as well practice using APA. That way I can correct your APA mistakes so that you don't make the same kind of mistakes when you take your content classes. Because that's basically what English 101 is for, is to teach you how to write research papers for your other classes. Anyway, so that pretty much sums up your week 5, my week 5 lecture. And so now we're getting close to the end. Ooh, everybody's so eager to finish. So if you have any questions, feel free to email me anytime. Let's see. Feel free to email me anytime. And